What is up, everyone? Today we are exactly 1 day out from the official Steam release of Sledders. Today's the 28th for me. I don't know when this video will be going up. I did record a video a week ago, but I decided didn't like what it was. But reportedly, and I'm going to put this on the screen here, there is, according to the devs, going to be a new sled available to everyone from day one. Turbo sleds, which were exclusive before during the Patreon times, are now on release date, going to be available to everybody. Yeah, so they did a post today on Steam, and just to build up a little bit more of the hype, I'm gonna be ripping around on Woodland just because I like the map a lot, and it's the map that they've most recently updated, and it's huge. I mean, for snowmobiling and stuff like that, granted these maps aren't, it's not like it's DCS World or something like that where you got a map that's thousands of square miles. This is just a couple square miles, but it is a ton of fun. I'm going to marker I want. I don't know where the marker is that I want. I thought I said a marker. I guess yeah, I did, right here. So if you come right there on the map, go from the, basically just go towards the peak and fall along this flat area. You'll find this little lodge here with a fire that's all nice and crackly. And I should not have survived that. If you head up this way, there is a pre-made jump right here, right there, along with the roof of the lodge being somewhat of a pre-made as well. So, nice big landing. I don't know if you can, yeah, you can hit that as a jump. Big jump, I did a little brake tap, waited a little bit late to rev it out. Whoopsies. But yeah, and then I like this section here, these birch trees. It reminds me a lot of when I was a little kid on the back of my grandpa's sled up in the middle of nowhere in Upper Peninsula, Michigan. Oops. He'd take me for a ride because, I was young and it was fun, sitting on the back of a snowmobile going, granted he didn't have a big sled, but just a little utility sled that he could use for hauling firewood in the winter and stuff like that. But yeah, I like this spot a lot. It looks cool, and it's a nice change from all the pine trees and whatnot on the rest of the map. Oh, I didn't realize it was this here. Okay. Yep. That's what I thought was going to happen. But yeah, this game, it keeps getting better. Every update they put out, it's just absolutely wild what a small dev team can do with Unity Engine and something. Oh my goodness, what a small dev team can do with Unity Engine and something, just one little idea that I don't even remember how I found this game. I think I was looking for an alternative to an older sled simulator that basically hasn't been updated in like 7 years. And I ended up stumbling across a video or something of this, and I, started following along in the development. And yeah, I subbed on Patreon pretty early on, and I was like, I'll support this project. These guys are, putting out some good content. Even then, when there wasn't much. Whoops. And, I didn't really have a good grasp on mountain riding since I'm, from Minnesota. Soda! It's mostly trails and whatnot around here. But yeah, I just, I love what these devs have been able to, love what these devs have done. And I hope that the game just keeps getting better. As I said earlier, new sled, that's going to be released on next Tuesday, the 5th of December. They're building the hype for this game really well, and it seems like a lot of people are stumbling across it on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, wherever people get most of their, both short form and long form content, and it seems like, the fan base is growing insanely quick with big YouTubers like Lynn's putting out videos. Oh, geez. Big YouTubers like Lynn's putting out videos that are pulling in 40, 50K views. I believe he just put one out today. I think he's probably going to be doing like a weekly thing on it, is what it seemed like these past couple of weeks. And yeah, it's gaining traction that the game definitely deserves. Yeah, it's still early in the development cycle for it, but I do think that this definitely has, ooh, dang it, definitely has promise on where it can go. Great. Oh, don't sink. And you know, the multiplayer, you know, even with it still being just a demo, I ended up paying enough on Patreon overall to get my free key. But with it even being the demo, you can still play multiplayer with Patreon members. I was able to play with one of my friends. Granted, he only has the woodland map and only has access to a limited amount of sleds. You know, when the game comes out, you'll have access to everything, which would be really cool. You know, multiplayer servers are already, you know, there's a couple servers I saw at one point that were, you know, chilling around almost 20 people the whole time every time I clicked on multiplayer, if I went back into the menu to change my sled or whatever. And it's really cool, you know, that this community, is doing this, you know, the multiplayer servers. I mean, that's a big thing in my opinion. Like, with a game like this, people are going to want to play together. And that was a big issue with the other Sled Simulator, not Sled Simulator. Actually, it might have been called Sled Simulator. I don't remember. That was one of the other issues with that, is it's like, yeah, multiplayer worked, but it was bare bones. I mean, the game had one map, one sled, a very limited area that you could play in. I ended up finding basically a mod menu for it, a modded version of it that I could, allowed me to go past the world borders and, you know, increase the power on the sleds and whatnot, stuff like that. Dang it. And I'm just gonna sink there. I guess we'll just wheelie that whole way down. Yeah, I like these. I like running the 155 sleds. You know, it's not the short ones like the 146, so you get a little bit of grip, but I mean, you can still pop her up into wheelies and whatnot in it. You know, but the stability versus the 155 versus the 146, at least physics-wise, is a lot better. Because it's like I wouldn't be able to, you know, be turning around like this on the 146. I'd be sliding and spinning out everywhere. So I'm gonna go back to first person just because that's what I'm used to. And, you know, just being able to rip through these woods, chill, talk to my friends, whatever is, in my opinion, it's a lot of fun. You know, and they're not even playing this game. They're playing other games, whatever. But I can just, you know, relax and just, you know, unwind after work or whatever. And, you know, with there not being much snow on the ground, I think there's like half an inch to an inch right now where I'm at. It... You know, it makes me want to ride, but it makes it kind of hard because I don't own a sled, so I have to borrow from a friend. But that's not the end of the world. It's just finding out a time where we're both not busy and can both, you know, spend a couple hours or a full day even riding. Plus, I gotta find more of my snow gear again. So, I mean, I know where my helmet is. I don't know where my goggles are. And I don't know if this is true, but from what I've seen on TikTok, a couple real-life brands are expressing interest in this game. I saw some stuff from, I don't remember the creator's name. I'll probably, you know, mention it here post. But he had 509 in his comment section, Bikeman Performance, like, you know, not like the tiny brands of the snowmobile industry that do small stuff. CNA Pro Skis was another one, which will be sick if you can get some really highly detailed skis in here, because yeah, these ones are good, but you know, being able to customize the sleds more than just which one do you want, and having, like, you know, I mean, granted there are modded wraps and stuff you can get, but being able to customize like the color of the skis, which ski handle you have, the width of the skis, you know, in the future I hope that they're able to, you know, update physics and have it so that the width of your skis matters on, you know, responsiveness and how floaty it is and stuff like that. I know at another point they were also talking about, for, I don't know if it's for the mountains map or for a different map or whatever, but you'd actually, you'd ride the trails up and you know, you could obviously hop off the trail whenever you want to, but you have, you know, your actual groomed trail going up the mountain. So you can, you know, because to be honest, getting up, I mean, this mountain on this map, I haven't been able to get up. I got to like about here-ish before I ended up just losing it, because it gets so steep towards the top. And I mean, if you look at, I don't know if you don't know how to read maps, the closer the contour lines, the quicker the change in elevation. And, you know, it's steep. And this stuff right here doesn't look steep. I don't know what the darker contour lines, if that's 100 feet, 100 meters, whatever it is. But even this section here where it looks like it's smooth and not too difficult, it gets really steep really quick. It looks like this is almost, more than likely if I were to ride over here, it'd look pretty much exactly like a chute because it's, you know, that tight. But, you know, I'm over here right now on the map, you know, further towards spawn. This is where you spawn. And I'm just, you know, cruising, ripping around. Another cool thing on this map, wrong spawn, is right here, there's some pre-made, actual pre-made jump, and the Sledders TikTok actually teased a snowcross track. I don't know if it was in this exact spot, but they had a little spot where it looks like they actually, you know, built up a snowcross track with different sized jumps, doubles, triples, you know, how a snowcross track would be. And it's really, oops, wrong one. It's really cool, you know, how involved the dev team is with the community too, because not a lot of devs do that nowadays. And, you know, being involved with your community, knowing what they want versus what you need to put out in the game is huge. And, you know, it's a lot easier for indie devs and smaller game devs to do that versus, you know, the big studios, where the big studios are like, hey, this is what we need done and when we need it done. It's more like, hey, what do you guys want done? All right, that's what you want? Okay, it'll be roughly this amount of time before we can get that done. But in the meantime, we'll feed you some smaller updates that we've had lined up and build some hype around it so they can, you know, like when they were talking about releasing, you know, re-releasing the slides with updated models, like for example, the Articat equivalent, I think Marker is what it's called. You know, they were, I lost my train of thought. Yeah, I completely lost where I was. I'm just gonna keep riding. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, like, this game runs really well. I don't have a crazy overpowered system, and, you know, obviously while recording it takes away a little bit on the PC's power, but, you know, a solid, you know, I get anywhere from 50 to about 90 FPS. Like right now I'm getting about 70. Some other spaces where the trees may be a little bit more compact, maybe a little bit harder for computers to run just because it's a lot to render all at once. But what's really cool is you can change your render radius so it'll you know, do a full circle around you that it renders in high quality, and then obviously lower qualities after that. Like I can see those trees way off in the distance, but they're not rendered in at the same quality as like these trees that are around me right now, which is super huge for a game, especially with maps, you know, maps this size. Like this is massive. And I mean, even up on spots like this, like I'm still getting decent FPS. I want to find a pretty tree-filled area. Yeah, about 80 in now. You know, getting more into the trees and dropping to about 60, maybe a little bit lower than that. I do have my graphics upscaled a little bit just to make it look a little bit better. But that's just personal preference, and you know, I as long as I'm getting about 60 frames, I don't really care. I mean, yeah, I have a 144 hertz monitor, but it's not the end of the world if it's, you know, not a full 144 hertz. Like, that's not a deal breaker for me. But yeah, I'm really hyped with full release, seeing what's more to come with this game. And I feel like it's going to be a really big success once they take off with this Steam release, because more and more people are wanting to, you know, use Steam. Look at this, like EA, Ubisoft, all those companies came crawling back to Steam because their sales aren't the same without it. I mean, granted, yeah, you have Epic Games Store, but a lot of the games released on there, well, some of them, unless they have an exclusive deal with Epic, are also released on Steam, and they do, whoa, and they do really good on Steam, and they do decent on Epic. You know, Epic is obviously known mostly for Fortnite. But they got Goat Simulator 3 and stuff like that, so, you know, they've got their advantages and disadvantages. I like Steam more. That's what I've always used since I mean, my dad's had this account since, I don't know when, you know, when I was still a kid, before I was even playing video games, and he let me use it, and now it's, you know, attached to my email, and, you know, it's all my games at this point. He's got his own, but, yeah, I mean, Steam release is going to be huge. All the people posting about it on all the social media, short form and long form content. it's building the kind of hype I think this game deserves. And I wouldn't necessarily say it needs, but, you know, with more hype built and more money, you know, being put towards the developers, they're gonna, you know, it's gonna be a bigger incentive for them to update the game and, you know, make it better and listen to their community and that kind of thing. It's, I feel like it's gonna turn out to be absolutely insane. I don't want to say end of life cycle for this game, but in a couple years' time, this game should be just absolutely amazing. And it already is, but I think I'm gonna cut it off here. You guys have a good rest of your day. Got any questions, let me know in the comments. I'll throw the Discord link down below and the Steam page as well, along with more than likely the TikTok link. All right, I'll see you guys later.